So J image color hundi. So we will have something like this for green, something like this for red and blue. So सारियां दा एक combination होना सी. But because this is a black and white image, so जे सारे red, green, blue इसे तरह दे होंदे 255, 255, and you combine all the red, green, blue colors, you get white color. Remember? So if you combine all the 255 from red, all the 255 from green, all the 255 from like say blue, you will still get this black and white image only. To get a colorful image, you have to remove one channel or reduce one channel. वो ਆਪਾਂ चीज़ आज नहीं कर रहे, but I'm just telling that all the things is just a number game here. ਤੁਸੀਂ number 000 ਲਿਖ ਦੋ तो square बन जाता है. That's how it is. Now how does the, so they're just 100 numbers. That's what neural network will take these 100 numbers as input and tell us it's a square or not. Okay. This is how the triangle looks like. Like you see triangle, like the zero, if they appears like this somewhere, that's how it's a triangle. And wherever there's like 255, that's like one, like equivalent to one in the sense that that's like white, totally white. And this is totally black, like zeros. How many of you understood this triangle part? We'll go a little slowly so you are following it. Is there any student who's any high school student or school student who didn't understood this part? Please like write it in the chat if there is any high school student who didn't understood this part. I'll wait here for say 10 more seconds. Okay. So let's just recap. We simplified the problem. Now we have an image which is just 10 by 10. Resolution is very low. Just 10 pixel in one side, 10 pixel on another side. So it has 100 numbers total, 100 numbers as input. 100 numbers are also not easy to handle. Like if you have to create any algorithm without AI to handle this problem, this is still very tough problem. Okay. It creates triangles or squares like you can see with your eyes. And now we need an AI to predict the image. So this is actually the problem of the interview now, the problem which you will solve in the interview. This is very easy to solve because you kept the same problem, you simplify it enough. Your simplification process explains that you understand the problem. Okay. Simplification process ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ problem ਦਾ core ਕੀ ਹੈ, what is it actually you want to do, right? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ real problem ਹੁਣ introduce ਕਰਦਾ, that is actually what we did. That's how we solved that real problem. So real problem is actually ImageNet challenge. How many of you know about the ImageNet challenge? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. So write it in the chat. What is ImageNet challenge if you know about it? Many of you raised your hands. So give me thumbs up. So write it in the chat. But let me also explain it to the audience. So ImageNet challenge is actually we had so many images created. It was running for many years. For many years, we could not create a very powerful AI which could beat human on detecting, say, elephants, flowers, this usually Halloween pumpkins, like different breeds of dogs, mushrooms, like convertible cars or mites or ships. So this is something real, very big vision problem. ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ image input ਹੋਏਗੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ detect ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ image ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੈ, what is the object? Is it a leopard? Is it a motor scooter? Is it a ship? Is it a mite? Think of these all things as different triangles or squares only. Okay. So for long we had millions of images like this. And now how to create an AI which can solve this problem, right? That was a challenge which was the hardest challenge for many years. We solved this challenge using deep learning. Appa deep learning, very powerful deep learning naale challenge solve kita. Also baad AI became like much mature. Like so many universities, companies participated to solve this. How we solved this, I'll just give a very high level overview. Okay. The real images were very complex. So we simplified it. We reduced the resolution to 244 by 244. Like I told you, even 10 by 10 resolution is enough to tell you it's a rectangle, it's triangle or square, right? So you don't need 180 or those very high 9 lakh input pixels. Because when you throw 9 lakh numbers to an AI, it's very hard to solve. So to see images nu simplify kar deo. So that's 244 by 244 was used by real ImageNet challenges in the early on. And even today, there are models, state-of-the-art models, which will use this resolution. Like I'm picking 10 by 10. That 10 by 10 is arbitrary. I could have selected 11 by 11, 12 by 12, 20 by 20. That's all fine. So we reduce the resolution to a limit where it's still possible to detect the objects without losing any accuracy. There are 1,000 objects to detect in this ImageNet, 1,000 different classes. So we are studying only 2 classes, right? Triangle or square. But in this ImageNet, there are 1,000 objects like chairs, laptops, humans, cats, dogs, flowers, aeroplanes, ships, all those things which you see around you. And the goal was to create an AI to predict this thing, okay? मैं थोड़ा जिहा पंजाबी च दसदा बहुत लंबे समय तक ਆਪਾਂ ਇਮੇਜਿਨਰੀ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਦੇ ਰੀਅਲ ਰੈਜ਼ੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਹੈਂਡਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕੇ ਸੋ ਦਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਸੋ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਪਲੀਫਾਈ ਦ ਇਮੇਜ ਲਾਈਕ ਦ ਸਿੰਪਲੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਿਚ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਹੇਅਰ so this is not just a simple interview trick I was teaching you. This is also a trick to solve real problems. If you want to create real AI for very complex use cases, the first step is always to look at your data and simplify it to the enough stage that you are able to solve the use case without degrading accuracy, but without creating a very complex AI. So ਤੁਹਾਡਾ goal ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ data ਨੂੰ simplify ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ problem ਫਿਰ ਵੀ solve ਹੋ ਜਾਏ. So ਇਸ imaginary challenge ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ data simplification ਨਾਲ solve ਕੀਤਾ. 100,000 objects ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ focus ਕੀਤਾ. There were many objects. So we selected 1,000 objects which had lot of data in it, okay? And that's how we solved it. So let's move on. This example is just connecting it to the bigger picture that these things are not just for square or triangles. These things work in real life for real problems, okay? ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਰੀਅਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸੋਲਵ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ. Before I move forward, how much of you a little bit understood this part at a high level? That's like the goal, just a high level if you understood. Okay, that's good. So this is what we want to create, okay? Let's move further. What you want to create is, we want to give this image as input like the data. We want to create the AI, will get output, it's triangle or square. Now the input data is like, is always numbers like we know. So this is the number which will be given as input, okay? This AI will get 100 numbers as input, like you see here, and then it will tell us it's triangle or square. So reality which jo apni AI chalegi wo numbers input legi jo tanu itthe dis rahe ne image apan visualize kar rahe hain. That's how humans see it, but this is how AI sees it. AI sees it as numbers and it will tell us a triangle or square, okay? Like AI will see this as numbers and then it will tell us it's what is it, okay? So once you have done the input and output formulation and everything is set, now you can think end to end. So now I want an AI. What should my AI look like? So now let us look at the neural network creation. I'll show you a working demo. But so apna is demo which sirf data te focus karange because we are learning the data part. Once the data part is a little bit clear and some Python around it, we'll move to the AI part in the next few lectures. Okay, but I'll show you a complete working notebook. But let us today focus only on the data part in this lecture. We have not started yet creating the neural networks and I have not started you teaching that. So don't worry, we will learn that in the future. आज ਦੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਡੇਟਾ ਇਨਪੁਟ ਪਾਰਟ ਤੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵਿਦ ਪਾਈਥਨ. ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਜੋ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਐਂਡ ਟੂ ਐਂਡ ਦੇਖ ਲਾਂਗੇ, ਵਿਲ ਮੇਕ ਇਟ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ. AI ਨਿਊਰਲ ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਨੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਮੈਂ ਨੋਟਬੁੱਕ ਦੇ ਦਿਆਂਗਾ, ਇਟ ਵਿਲ ਵਰਕ. ਪਰ ਉਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖਾਂਗੇ ਦਾ AI ਪਾਰਟ ਐਂਡ ਆਊਟਪੁੱਟ ਪਾਰਟ ਆਲਸੋ, ਓਕੇ? ਆਪਾਂ ਇਨਪੁੱਟ ਤੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਡੇਟਾ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ. But problem formulation मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਜਾਏ. We'll slowly build over this and create very powerful tools or very powerful techniques to use for you to use. So if I create a working Colab notebook, it can actually work. So this is all the output from a model. It can say that this is triangle, this is square, this is triangle, all these different variations, right? It can say this. So let me show you this working notebook first. I'll also put the link in the chat. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾ ਦੇਣਾ and after that I'll put it in the chat so you can open it at your end also, okay? So okay. Okay, so there are some people who are saying, sir, did not understood. No, sir. Are you still confused, like you did not understood the number part? Let me know that Harpreet Kaur, Japaneet Kaur, is it still the confusion? Write it in the chat. So the numbers are actually given by us as input. You know that AI only works on numbers. So images are represented as numbers. Image ਨੂੰ numbers ਚ convert ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ. You can think in that way. ਉਹ numbers ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ numbers are nothing but 0 and 255. 0 means black 255 means white. So ਸਾਰੀ image ਜੋ white और 255 ਨਾਲ represent ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ. Okay, let's continue further. Okay, so you can probably see my screen. So in the upper part data creation है, ਉਹ data ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਕਸਰ interview ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. You collect it yourself, so don't worry about the data creation part. This is how the data looks like 10 by 10, like I'm showing you. There's a triangle, there's a square, square, triangle, square. So in this function, I'm going to generate data. So to solve AI, the first step is data. So let us just generate data. Data generation, jo aapa kita X and Y, there are actually 1,000 images which I generated, okay, in this Python. And this is how it looks like the 1,000 images are nothing but 255, and then there are zero zeros. These zeros represent like either square or triangle, like I showed you. Okay, 1,000 images ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ train ਕਰ ਦਿਆਂਗੇ. ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ train ਤੇ test ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, right? So ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ explain ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ, ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ explain ਕਰਦਾ. So we'll go multiple routes. 1,000 images, ਹਰ image ਵਿੱਚ 100 numbers ਨੇ, like I said to you. So that's what it means. 1,000 images ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ triangles ਤੇ squares ਦੀਆਂ. ਇਹ 1,000 images generation ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਡ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ. ਉਹ ਕੋਡ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਤਲਬ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ. ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ AI ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. ਇਹ ਨੋਟਬੁੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਦੂੰਗਾ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕੋਡ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਅਗਾਂ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਲੈਕਚਰਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਪਾਈਥਨ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕੋਡ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਾਂਗੇ. ਓਕੇ, ਸੋ ਡੇਟਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊਅਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਡੇਟਾ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਡੇਟਾ ਕਲੈਕਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਯੂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਹੈਵ ਦਾ ਡੇਟਾ ਇਨ ਹੇਅਰ. ਆਈ ਵਾਂਟ ਡੇਟਾ ਮਾਈ ਸੈਲਫ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਬਿਲਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਇਨ ਦ ਫਿਊਚਰ. ਓਕੇ, 1,000 images ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ, and the images look like this, what you see here. We have 1,000 images, and each image has 100 numbers. Like it's the first element is actually first image. X0 is the first element. Remember we said X as the data, X is the input, X is the notation which we learned in one of our lecture. Okay, there's the same X. X is the data, X is the input. X0 is the first image. Okay, and that first image has 100 numbers, which I was showing you, the 10 by 10, right? These are the 100 numbers. Upper train karna hai, so we'll keep 20% of the data as test, and so we will use 800 images to train and 200 images to test. Upper data nu split karta, 200 images test waste alag rakh liyan, and we will use 800 images to learn or train. Itho tak tonu samajh aana chahiye hai. So how many of you understood until here the data part? There are 800 images to train, 200 images to test. Each of these images is nothing but these numbers what you see here. And these numbers, what are these numbers? This is an array. So in Python, you can define an array very easily, what you see here. Like X is an array, which I created here. Okay. First element is an image, which has 100 numbers. X has total of 1,000 elements. Okay. Apa X da dooja element we dekh sakte hain. You will understand. The dooja element, second image is different, like the first image, but they all will have 255 and 000 zeros, like you see here. Okay. ਇਹ zeros ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ arrange ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਉਹ zero square ਜਾਂ triangle represent ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, right? Can I move on from here? Is there anyone in the group who has not understood until now? Write it in the chat if you have not understood. If you understood, just give me a thumbs up and we'll move on further. Okay. So now we create a training test split, like I was telling you, 800 images to train, 200 images to test. So training and testing you always do for every AI. You create an AI, even when you create chat GPT like AI, you have to test it very well. So training and testing is fundamentally same for every AI. Okay. Now let us define a very simple neural network. इथे मैं define कर देना, तो मैं सिखाऊंगा ये किमें किया जाता है in the future lectures. Okay. So let us just define it for this problem. A simple neural network which AI जो है very simple है. So this only has 889 parameters. 880 parameters of an AI actually tells us how complex the AI is. जिमें अपने brain ਵਿੱਚ 80 billion neurons ने, chat GPT has trillions of neurons. This has only 889 neurons. It's a very simple tiny AI, like tinier than an ant. Okay. But this AI can solve this problem for us. So training of an AI is like the steps which we have learned, right? We define the AI. Now here I'm training the AI. We use the training data to train it. So in Python, this is very easy, like you see here. We'll learn about the fit function. Apa fit function bare future ch padhange. but it's very easy, like you see here. Okay, so training of AI is nothing but input data and some epochs and how much we are going to see it. Okay, so once you train it, you see that its accuracy was 45% and 81%. And finally, let us test the AI. It became 81% accuracy in just very simply 78% on the test, right? And let us run the AI now. So it is predicting this is triangle. We are running it on the test data. Okay, so it works reasonably well. It has 78% accuracy. Let me show you one more trick. So we want to make it better. So 81% is fine. So if you want to make it better, let us train it for longer. Longer training the matlab hai ki let us run it for maybe 20 epochs. मतलब इथे ਆਪਾਂ ज्यादा ट्रेन कर रहे हैं ज्यादा टाइम ਲਈ. So now it becomes 100% accurate roughly. You see here 1.0 accuracy means 100% accurate. Makes no mistake now. And the test accuracy is also 100%. So this is a very simple problem, very toy problem. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ perfect AI create ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਰੀਅਲ ਲਾਈਫ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕੰਪਲੈਕਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਪਰਫੈਕਟ AI ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਇੰਪੋਸੀਬਲ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਯੂ ਗੈਟ ਅਰਾਊਂਡ 98 96 98 90 92 ਰਾਈਟ. ਬਟ ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਸੀ, we can create a perfect brain for it, and that's like how it looks like you see here. Okay, next. So let me put this link in the chat. So I hope ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੋਲੈਬ ਵਾਲਾ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਪੜਿਆ ਹੋਏਗਾ. So you can run this on your own. Don't run it just now. Epoch is like you want to train this many times. How many times? So AI kinni vari data dekhdi hai. You train the AI by showing the data. So you can show the data 10 times or 20 times. The more times you show the data, the AI becomes better. Okay, I will send it in the group also. Okay, so because this is a very simple problem, on this problem you can overfit. Okay, ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਦੱਸਦਾ. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੰਪਲੀਫਾਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਗੋਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਓਵਰਫਿਟ ਕਰੋ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਤੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਤੇ ਓਵਰਫਿਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਪਲੈਕਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਲਵ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਂ ਦੇਖੋ, ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਟ੍ਰਾਇੰਗਲ ਸਕੁਅਰ ਦੀ ਬਲੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਟ ਇਮੇਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, AI ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਤੇ ਜੋ ਰੀਅਲ ਕਲਰਡ ਇਮੇਜ ਹੈ, ਕੰਪਲੈਕਸ ਇਮੇਜ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ AI ਆਪਾਂ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਸੋ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਓਵਰਫਿਟ ਕਰੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ 100% ਐਕੂਰੇਸੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ, ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਗੋਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ताकि complex problems ਨੂੰ ਆਕਾ solve ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ. Okay, so simple problems are not designed for accuracy. Simple problems are to test the approach, to think about like the problem end to end, to get a feeling that how it will work. How many of you understood this simple part of the AI creation? Give me a thumbs up if you understood this part. So real life data complex on the right, like we know that the real life data is more complex, like we discussed about this. So once you're able to solve this simple problem, you can solve the real life problem also. Like real life square can be black, or it can be red, or like greenish shade, or slightly more other greenish shade, or pinkish, or those kind of shades, right? So this problem also we can solve very easily. I didn't solve this today because I wanted to show you the real process. ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਸੋਲਵ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਆਪਾਂ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਦੇ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਵੇਰੀਐਂਟ ਸੋਲਵ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਜਿਹਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਦਿਖਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ. Okay, so what is important here is like colors can be different, sizes can be different, locations can be different. So once you understand these things, so you understand your data, now you can play with the data and create simplified variations for your interviews, for your practice, for your research papers, and so on. So real problems are very complex. In the research paper, you formalize a particular variant, a simpler variant of the problem. Since we are talking about interviews, right? So I want to tell many of you today one thing that I want to tell maybe all of you, if you can, so register on LinkedIn portal. I don't recommend many other portals, but LinkedIn is a very good portal. So you can connect with whatever you want to like do in your life. You want to be a doctor, there are doctors there. You want to be engineers, there are engineers, AI experts. You want to be like a professor, you want to do future education, you want to go to a particular university, you want to join a particular company. They all people are there. So जो अपने स्कूल ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੀ ਨੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ LinkedIn portal ਤੇ register ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰੋ. LinkedIn is like a professional portal. It's like a Facebook, Instagram of professional peoples. ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ AI ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ, ਬਟ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀ ਰਿਸੋਰਸਿਸ ਕਾਫੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। you get to know professors, you get to know companies. So ਜੋ ਬੈਚਲਰ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਦੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਰਜਿਸਟਰ ਕਰੋ। You want to connect with the companies which you are interested in, connect with the recruiters, see the job portals, profiles. So ਆਪਾਂ future lecture ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ sample job profiles ਲਿਆ ਕੇ LinkedIn ਤੋਂ, I'll talk about some skill sets, okay? So you will know how to apply and all those things. But before we do that, it's a good idea to register there. So ਅੱਜ ਦੇ lecture ਦਾ I think the main high level goal, the simplification process, end-to-end thinking, data, connecting the dots, like imaginary challenge. These all things are very, very real, and this is actually how most of the top companies are able to work, or most of the top teams are able to advance on very complex problems, okay?